Okay, video for Huzaifa. Sorry, bit of problems pronouncing your name. Huzaifa Balm. Vogue boiler is a twin temperature output boiler. You can wire it for weather compensation, or you can set it for a single set temperature other than full output. Full output obviously needs to be used for generating the hot water. But you could either use weather comp, or you could use, if you pipe it up, you could use weather comp. If you can't pipe it up correctly, then you could use a single lower temperature. I'm assuming around 50 would be okay. I've made the mistake in the past of trying to do this and set it too low on systems where I didn't have the right hydraulic layout. And I've concluded that if you're not going to do the right hydraulic separation, you can't really run with weather comp or modulated temperature controls. You've got to run at high temperature. But anyway, 50 as a set temperature. If you set your mixing valve to around 40, which should be really high enough to do most floors, set your flow temperature to 50, then you should be fine. If you do have to set the mixing valve on the manifold higher, then you have to turn the temperature up at the boiler higher, unless you get the hydraulic separation. But anyway, my concept for this installation is, rather than having a bypass, as you've drawn in your drawing before, is to use close coupled T's at the boiler. Then come down. It doesn't really matter which order you come off for these. I've just drawn it just how it came. But we have an extra pump to fit for driving the hot water cylinder, and we have an extra pump to fit for the radiators. Or alternatively, you could come off with one pipe, use one pump and put the two valves the other side of those, which would save you one pump on the installation. So really just doing like an S-plan off of this side of the circuit first would be fine. No problem at all. Then you come down. You don't need any pump on the inlet to the type of manifold you've got, because it's not an injector type. It will actually draw its water from the system, and it will draw the correct amount of water. You won't get valve chatter or any problems with noise at your valve this way. Remember that this pipe size here needs to be suitable to create no delta P between these tapping connections. So these want to be as close together as possible. And I think the guide, if I remember right, it was 0.9 meters a second velocity for a distribution header. But really, you can't go too slow on a distribution header. But maybe if you just kept this as short as possible. And the same with the collector as well, this side. That would be good. Okay. Now, to use the two temperatures, there are a set of terminals inside. I can't remember the numbers. And you can apply a signal. I think it's no signal, it goes to full temperature. Or if you apply a signal or join two wires together, it will go to the temperature you set on either the front dial of the boiler or according to the weather comp, if you connect the sensor to the outside. But I'm not really a big Vogue fan. I just happen to know the answer for this one because I've done one. Now, the one I did, I made some mistakes. I didn't do the close coupled T's. And I set it to 40 for the mixing valve, left it connected to the radiators, and it didn't work. We've had to turn the temperature up at the boiler, quite high actually, in order for it not to start clashing with the radiators. And ideally I need to go back and change the pipework setup for them. It is more efficient, it's better than it was, and you know, in the milder weather they can turn the temperature down on the boiler and it won't be a problem. But at the moment it didn't turn out quite as I'd expected. I've made a video on it. I've done a lovely job of it, but it's a design mistake on my behalf. So I'm still very anti this idea of close coupled T's going on down this end. I just think they're causing problems, and not happy about that at all. But anyway, if you follow this design, go the two temperature route. It's not difficult to do, but you will need to build a relay box for it. And yeah, okay, well, I hope that helps.